Mercedes Mone has something in AEW that she doesn't in WWE. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. Because now we have been able to see Mone not only in 2 different promotions, WWE and AEW, we've also seen her in 3, technically 4 if you want to count Stardom and New Japan. And I understand New Japan and Stardom are now one, but at the time they weren't. I digress. Anyways, look, Mone, she took a leap of faith. She believed in herself. I talked about this in a previous video. When she decided to walk out of WWE. Let's fast track to the past, shall we? Because in the May of 2022, she and Naomi walked out of WWE while being women's tag team champions. They had a creative dispute with Vince McMahon over booking plans. I disagree with their decision because I thought it was a little dramatic. They were being booked in championship matches in which they were going to lose, but they were going to be in main event programs across Raw and SmackDown while also bragging that they're the women's tag team champions. They didn't like it. I disagree. We'll move on. Now look, since then, Mone, she went to a New Japan, she went to a Stardom, she held gold there. Now she's in AEW, signing what is the highest paid female contract in the history of the wrestling business. That is remarkable. The fact that she's able to get paid top dollar, and no, not AJ Francis, and do it on a limited basis. If you are creatively fulfilled, and if you are paid handsomely while doing so, I don't care what kind of stage you're on. Yes, AEW is the second biggest promotion in the world. They are not WWE, and they ain't even close. But at the end of the day, it comes down to a individual, not what you want, but what Mone wants. And as a Mone fan, a supporter, I give her all praise for doing so. Now, you have to keep in mind that Mone has outside interest. It's not just wrestling, right? And she's had these outside interests for quite some time, going back to her WWE days. She wants to be a businesswoman, which, by the way, she is. She wants to be an actress, which, by the way, she is. And she wants to be a model, which, by the way, she is. She landed one of the biggest acting gigs out of all of the pro wrestlers out there, aside from your Rocks and your John Cena's and your Dave Bautista's, in The Mandalorian. As a female, she landed the biggest gig ever. Mandalorian. Well, she has been doing the media rounds, and she was talking about a perk that she didn't get in WWE. And what is that perk? Well, that leads us to today's topic, because she did an interview with WFAN, The Fan, and she was talking about how it was quite difficult to get time off to film The Mandalorian while in WWE. In regards to having extra freedom in AEW, she says, oh yes, that's definitely a big reason why I came to AEW. Even doing The Mandalorian was pulling teeth within WWE to even try and get time to film that show. Tony Khan says, whatever I need, if I need a private jet to go to filming in LA to come for a show, it's available for me. That's a big, big statement. That's a big, big revelation. Because, look, we knew, and I've talked about this for literally over a year now, thank you all so much for your support, that she was in talks with WWE in 2023. Heck, she was in talks with WWE before she even negotiated her release. Right? She got her release because Paul Triple H Levesque had already taken over creative at the time that they were talking, because Vinnie Mac, he was ousted in June, July of that year. She opted to go to New Japan. The idea at the time was, from a WWE standpoint, hey, you know what? You want to go and work New Japan? Fine, go work New Japan. We're still waiting here for you. When you're ready to come back, we're here with open arms, an open checkbook, and we will proceed. Great. She went and did that. And then she went back and forth with WWE. Didn't get the right deal for her that she felt by WWE. Went and talked with AEW and Tony Khan. Didn't feel like she got the right deal. So she continuously, throughout 2023, and this has been reported by multiple outlets, that, 1 minute she was in talks with WWE, 1 minute it looked like she was going to sign with WWE, 1 minute it looked like she was going to go to AEW, 1 minute it looked like it wasn't going to get done, right? And then obviously she ends up in AEW. The fact that she's able to go and know that she has the freedom of, hey boss, I need time off, I'm going to go film this movie. And he's like, yeah, all right, cool. Just let me know when you're coming back. Or, all right, great, I'm going to write you off here in a few weeks, and then you're off to the races. Just make sure you give me enough time so I can write you off TV. Cool, no problem. In WWE, that's not like that. And it doesn't matter whether you're working for Triple H or you're working for Vince McMahon. Completely two different situations. It's a WWE versus AEW problem. It's not a Vince McMahon, but Triple H does things differently problem, right? You have to work around the WWE schedule when you want to go film movies, including WWE studio movies, which, by the way, do they even make those anymore? I don't know. But, like, you've heard stories of a John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Triple H, whoever, Sheamus, Miz, go down the freaking list, where when they were signed on to do a WWE movie, it wasn't like, oh, well, we're going to give you complete time off. It's like, oh, you shoot Monday through Friday? Great. We'll come and do the Saturday, Sunday house show loop, and then you can go back to filming your movie. And it's like, but I haven't been home in 3 weeks. What do I do? Well, that's just too bad for you. Like, it's a different kind of system, right? And also the fact that AEW and Tony Khan's like, hey, you need a plane? You don't want to fly private or fly public? I'll get it right eventually. It's like, oh, well, here's my plane, right? Like, there's a big difference. But that perk of being able to know and have that freedom, act on that freedom, that's pretty dang important for Mone. It's pretty dang important for the rest of the wrestlers in WWE and AEW when you're talking about potentially moving companies, whether it's AEW to WWE or WWE to AEW. And I understand that there's been this narrative that, oh, if you're a WWE person, you don't like your spot in the company, you can just go to AEW and you're going to become a big star. That shine has wore off, y'all. And this idea of only WWE guys go to AEW, that is no longer the case, right? Cody Rhodes, he cracked the door. Jade Cargill busted through the door. That is the difference, and that is what has made such an impact on the landscape, where now if you're someone in WWE, you question whether or not you should go to AEW. And it comes down to booking and availability, because if you go to AEW, you don't know if you're going to have enough of spots to go around in AEW, right? You don't know. Like, we're going to find this out about Ricochet if he goes to AEW, and that's a big if. But if he does, yeah, he's going to make a noticeable splash when he first shows up, but in 6 months, is he going to matter, right? Like, you can go down the list of, like, all these people that have come from WWE, signed with AEW, isn't used, disappeared, right? Like, various things. It's quite interesting to follow along in that regard. Let me know. Hey, y'all, real quick, make sure you join the movement and join everyone in smashing, obliterating that notification bell so